Kevin Gates recently opened up about what he said to Savannah James during that Lakers game, and the details are far more intimate than anyone anticipated. Just a week ago, Gates found himself making headlines after a social media rant where he criticized Savannah, describing her as distant, unkind, and even likening her to a strict prison warden. "You behave like the warden of a prison," he'd said. Then, in a surprising twist, he appeared courtside, only a few feet away from LeBron and Savannah, creating an atmosphere so tense it was palpable. For the first time, though, Gates has decided to shed light on what truly transpired that evening. Let's unpack everything. The provocative remarks. It all began on April 19th, 2025, when Kevin Gates went live on Instagram, starting a conversation about relationships involving NBA couples. What initially seemed like an offhand chat took a sharp turn when Gates shifted his focus to LeBron and Savannah, zeroing in on their pre-game handshake tradition, a familiar sight for fans of Lakers games. Gates' comments during the live stream quickly became the talk of the internet. "I'm not a fan of how Savannah looks at LeBron. Now, the way the white women glance at him, that's different. The moment he steps into the room, their faces light up like wow. Crazy, right?" But Gates didn't hold back. He went on and even likened Savannah to a prison warden. "No kidding. It's like, why do you act like I'm a nuisance? I mean, I'm one of the best players on the planet. Easily top 5, maybe top 10. I'm up there. I'm in the playoffs, and it feels like you're behaving more like a prison warden than a partner." Gates implied that Savannah doesn't display enough excitement or admiration toward her husband, especially when compared to how other women, specifically white women, respond to LeBron. He argued that her behavior comes across as more controlling than supportive, almost as if her role is to monitor him instead of celebrating him. "It's like, you're here to check up on me, instead of appreciating him the way other women might." Gates even went as far as saying he couldn't deal with that dynamic. Despite LeBron's position as one of the greatest basketball players in history, the rapper admitted he would never want to trade places with him because of what he perceives as a lack of genuine appreciation from Savannah. As per Gates, LeBron exudes a deeply loving and generous spirit, and it pained him to witness the alleged behavior of Savannah. He remarked that every time he's been around LeBron, the guy just radiates love and generosity, which made seeing this situation particularly upsetting for him. Now, anyone familiar with Kevin Gates knows this isn't the first instance where he's made eyebrow-raising declarations. This is the same person who previously stirred headlines with some highly controversial remarks. For example, he once openly admitted to having a romantic relationship with his cousin during his teenage years, even after discovering their familial connection. He's also famously claimed that his time in prison was the best thing that ever happened to him. Moreover, Gates hasn't shied away from sharing graphic details about his sexual preferences, and once asserted he went 3 weeks fasting without consuming food or water, a feat that would, quite literally, be fatal. So, while Gates is no stranger to making controversial statements, targeting LeBron and Savannah's marriage brought his outspokenness to an entirely different level. Gates, to his credit, appeared fully aware that his remarks might provoke a strong reaction. Near the conclusion of his rant, he admitted outright, "I know a lot of people are going to hate what I just said," yet he stood by his words without hesitation. He even added, "Look, if everyone agreed with or liked me, I'd be soft, so disagree with me all you want." The situation became even more awkward due to its timing. This all unfolded during the NBA playoffs, a pivotal moment for LeBron James and the Lakers. Gates didn't shy away from referencing this in his tirade, saying, "And I hate that he's got to go through that." For context, LeBron and Savannah have been together since their high school days as teenagers. The couple, now married for over 10 years, has 3 children and is widely seen as having one of the most solid relationships in professional sports. To many, Gates' statement struck not only as disrespectful, but also wildly out of line. The racial undertones in his critique added yet another layer of controversy to an already inflammatory situation. By directly pitting Savannah against white women, he brought a racial undertone into the conversation that many considered highly problematic. What could have been dismissed as merely impolite remarks about someone's marriage suddenly took on more profound and polarizing undertones. The clip rapidly gained traction across social media, drawing reactions from fans, celebrities, and sports analysts alike. A seemingly obscure Instagram outburst escalated into one of the most talked-about celebrity disputes of 2025. But how did LeBron and Savannah handle the controversy? And what unfolded when Kevin Gates made an unexpected appearance courtside at a Lakers game just days after his comments stirred the pot? Stay tuned, because it only gets more intriguing. The ultimate response from LeBron and Savannah. Following Gates' viral rant, LeBron chose not to retaliate with a fiery post on social media or engage in a dramatic back and forth. On April 20th, just a day after Gates released his video, LeBron took to Instagram with a post that was subtle yet undeniably powerful. He uploaded 2 photos that spoke volumes without using many words. The first captured Savannah gazing at him with pure admiration, completely undermining Gates' entire narrative. The second image featured the couple sharing a tender kiss. However, it was the caption that truly stole the spotlight. "Kings don't worry about the thoughts of peasants. Where to next, Queen? Let's go." Did you catch that? Without explicitly naming Gates, LeBron essentially dismissed him as insignificant while simultaneously presenting himself and Savannah as nothing less than royalty. The post instantly caught fire, with fans and other celebrities flocking to the comments to commend LeBron for his poised and respectful reaction. People admired the way he defended his wife without stooping to Gates' level. Savannah, however, took an even more cutting approach, and honestly, I can't help but love her for it. Instead of engaging with Gates' remarks directly, she posted a reaction clip from Nicki Minaj on her Instagram stories. In the clip, Nicki says what? She didn't anyways. For those who don't know, this meme is the ultimate way of saying, this isn't even worth my energy. Savannah's handling of Gates' comments made it clear she saw them as so trivial they didn't warrant a serious response. If you ask me, that's top-tier queen energy. The James family's collective response made it clear that they were unfazed and stood together as a solid unit, rather than letting Gates' remarks rattle or provoke them. They handled the situation with poise, adding a subtle hint of sass to their reaction. Their actions perfectly illustrated why they remain one of the most admired couples in the sports world. Public support overwhelmingly favored the James family. Actor and rapper Paige Kennedy chimed in on LeBron's post, offering a heartfelt message of encouragement. She remarked that Savannah looks at LeBron as if he's the most incredible and important man in her world, which of course he is. She praised him for being highly aware of everything happening around him, yet unbothered by irrelevant chatter, likening his attitude to the moon disregarding the howls of wolves. Former NBA star Brandon Jennings also stepped into the conversation, pointing out what he saw as an odd and unnecessary level of disdain aimed at the James family. He highlighted that LeBron and his family seem to endure an unusual level of public scrutiny and negative attention compared to other top athletes. The controversy set social media ablaze, with millions of users engaging in posts and debates surrounding the situation. A majority voiced their support for LeBron and Savannah, denouncing Gates' remarks as rude and out of line. However, not everyone rallied behind the James family. Former NFL star Antonio Brown offered a contrasting opinion, criticizing LeBron for not addressing Gates more directly. This fueled discussions over whether LeBron's calm and composed reaction was the right approach, or if he should have been more assertive in defending his wife from disrespect. Another key element of the conversation was the racial undertone of Gates' comments. Online users were particularly upset by Gates comparing Savannah to white women in a manner they felt was objectifying and offensive. One user, Jennifer Clam, wrote, "Comparing a black woman to white women while objectifying her husband is a new low." A different commenter on Stephen Dwayne's post pointed out how intriguing it was that Kevin Gates had recently criticized Savannah James for not resembling the white women associated with the league. So, how did Gates react after being referred to as a peasant by one of basketball's all-time greats? Rather than retreating, he stood his ground. In a video shared on Instagram stories, Gates stated, "The truth is painful, but it ultimately heals. And Bron, I love you. As long as you're being honored, I couldn't care less who dislikes me." Later, Gates appeared to soften his tone, adding, "I'm far below a peasant. I'm merely a servant of Allah, and I love you." This seemed like an effort to embrace the peasant designation instead of taking offense, while still holding on to his earlier stance. However, Gates then escalated the conflict in a way that shifted the situation to a completely different level. On April 22nd, just a few days after all this chaos began, he made an appearance at a Lakers game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And he wasn't tucked away in the cheap seats, either. No, he and his girlfriend, Brittany Renner, were front and center, sitting courtside. Can you even believe the nerve? News outlets quickly highlighted how Gates was seated just a few feet from where LeBron would be during the game. It was such an unmistakable attempt to spark more controversy. Social media erupted over Gates attending the game. One person even commented, "When I say I'm petty, I mean I'm Kevin Gates courtside at the Lakers game after talking about LeBron and his wife. Petty." Another viral post on X with over 13 million views stated, "Kevin Gates really showed up courtside to the Lakers game even after making those comments about LeBron James' wife, Savannah James." Despite all the anticipation and tension, reports suggest that Gates and Savannah didn't actually interact during the game. Just his mere presence was enough to keep the controversy swirling. Amid all the chaos, Savannah maintained her composure and largely rose above the drama. Following her initial meme-inspired response referencing Nicki Minaj, she appeared to take a step back from the entire ordeal. Later, she shared an Instagram story of herself unwinding in a serene bubble bath, accompanied by the caption, "This and no emails," signaling her focus had shifted to more positive aspects of her life. What began as seemingly harmless remarks spiraled into a much deeper conversation, touching on themes of respect, privacy, race, and the relentless scrutiny faced by public figures and their loved ones. From the outset of their relationship, LeBron and Savannah have been no strangers to criticism and negativity. Many people overlook that the couple has been together since their teenage years. During their time at St. Vincent St. Mary High School in Akron, Savannah became pregnant with her first child, LeBron Jr., also known as Bronny, while she was still a student. That alone brought its own set of judgment and disapproval. As LeBron's career skyrocketed, Savannah remained steadfast by his side, enduring everything from the early challenges to the backlash surrounding decisions like the decision. Although LeBron bore the brunt of the criticism, Savannah also found herself under harsh scrutiny as his wife. The family endured death threats, and their relocation to Miami fueled a wave of malicious gossip and speculation. One of the most persistent attacks aimed at Savannah has been the relentless rumors questioning LeBron's faithfulness. Despite the complete lack of credible evidence, gossip blogs and social media platforms have continually circulated baseless claims about alleged affairs. On forums like Reddit, users suggest unfounded theories, such as LeBron being unfaithful since his teenage years, or that their marriage operates under open relationship terms, none of which have any substantiation. These rumors not only undermine their relationship, but also cast an unfair shadow over Savannah, portraying her as either oblivious or complicit in infidelity. When Savannah chose to carve out her own space by launching her podcast, Everybody's Crazy, in March 2024, the reaction to her independence was swift and unforgiving. Some fans criticized her for breaking away from her previous image as the quiet, ideal wife. Social media comments reflected this disappointment with remarks like, "She's perfect to us. Why ruin it?" as if her worth were tied solely to fulfilling an idealized image. A preview of the podcast generated even harsher critiques. On Lipstick Alley, users lamented the move, with some stating she was one of the last great symbols of Black womanhood, suggesting that her decision to launch the podcast somehow tarnished her ability to represent Black women in a positive light. The podcast wrapped up after only 6 episodes, not primarily because of the backlash, but rather due to limited participation from its target audience. The James family has also been on the receiving end of criticism regarding their parenting decisions. When Bronny chose to pursue basketball, many were quick to accuse LeBron of either pressuring his son excessively or leveraging his own influence to create opportunities for him. Similarly, after their daughter Jury appeared in social media posts, people commented on her appearance and upbringing. Even their middle child, Bryce, has been unable to avoid public scrutiny. Despite all of this, LeBron and Savannah have remained steadfast, prioritizing their family and largely tuning out the negativity. Their calm and composed reaction to Gates' remarks mirrors how they have consistently faced criticism throughout their relationship, with grace and resolve. LeBron, in particular, has been weathering criticism and public judgment since the outset of his career. Just imagine, he's been under the spotlight since he was only 17, nicknamed the Chosen One, and featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated while still a high school student. The immense pressure and spotlight LeBron has endured for over 20 years would likely overwhelm most individuals, yet he's managed to navigate it with remarkable resilience. One of the earliest instances of LeBron encountering criticism within the basketball world occurred back in 2003, when he was selected as the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft. A recently resurfaced video sheds light on how even his Cleveland Cavaliers teammates weren't particularly supportive during his rookie season. LeBron recalls, "My own teammates, absolutely. There's footage out there of them basically saying he's not ready." The clip captures Cavaliers players openly doubting whether an 18-year-old fresh out of high school could truly transform their team. One player questions, "You really think a high school kid can come in and just turn a team around like that?" Others were even more blunt in expressing their doubts, with one asserting, "We already have players better than him at this position on the team. Or we're not pinning all our hopes on an 18-year-old kid. If he shows up, you know?" LeBron shares that these weren't just casual remarks. He had to contend with negativity coming from people he worked alongside daily. "It was my own teammates, the guys I practiced with, traveled on planes with, and relied on in critical game situations, who carried this, not hatred per se, but more like animosity toward me and what I could bring to the table." Naturally, LeBron silenced those critics in no time by earning Rookie of the Year honors and quickly securing a place among the NBA's brightest stars. However, the harshest wave of criticism he ever encountered hit in 2010 with the decision. During a widely criticized televised special, he announced he'd be leaving Cleveland for Miami, sparking outrage on an unprecedented level. Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert penned a furious open letter in Comic Sans, denouncing LeBron's move as an act of cowardly betrayal and vowing that Cleveland would claim a championship before LeBron ever could. Fans took to the streets, burning his jersey, and almost overnight, LeBron became one of the most despised figures in American sports. During LeBron's time with Miami, the backlash he faced was overwhelming. Nearly every arena greeted him with boos, particularly when the Heat visited Cleveland. Sports media relentlessly dissected his character and leadership, turning him into a daily topic of heated debates. Even NBA legends like Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson weighed in, criticizing him for teaming up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh rather than striving to win solo. As his career evolved, LeBron also drew fire for his involvement in social justice issues. In 2012, his comments on the Trayvon Martin case sparked opposition. Later, his critique of Donald Trump prompted Fox News' Laura Ingraham to famously tell him to shut up and dribble. Similarly, his tweet about the Ma'Khia Bryant shooting in 2021, which included a photo of the officer with the caption, "Your next #accountability," triggered fierce outrage. Beyond this, nearly every facet of his public persona has been analyzed and often criticized, covering everything from his business ventures and leadership style to his relationships within the NBA. The unending GOAT debate comparing him to Michael Jordan has fueled entire industries of sports commentary and social media clashes, many of which inevitably circle back to some form of LeBron critique. What sets LeBron apart is his ability to endure relentless criticism and intense public scrutiny while crafting one of the most extraordinary legacies in sports. He has juggled the roles of top-tier athlete, entrepreneur, social advocate, husband, and father, all under the microscope of millions who analyze his every action. Yet, despite this constant pressure, he has largely chosen to rise above it, handling negativity with grace instead of stooping to engage with his critics, much like his approach to Kevin Gates. Speaking of Gates, let's dive into some of the most jaw-dropping things he has said during interviews, revealing just how unfiltered and provocative he can be. In a conversation on Big Boy's Neighborhood, Gates immediately delivered a shocker. "I drink pregnant women's urine," he declared. "Yes, you heard that right. He drinks urine. No, I consume the urine of pregnant women." The radio host, clearly taken aback, reacts with disbelief, but Gates reaffirms his stance. "Oh, now it makes sense to me. Absolutely, I enjoy it. Hey man, do you ever feel like it?" "Yes, I absolutely feel like consuming the urine of pregnant women." Later during the conversation, Gates shifts gears to discuss another peculiar subject. "All right, hear me out. I consume breast milk." "Seriously? And my mom? Don't even go there. She provided the finest breast milk." When questioned about his behavior, Gates offers a justification that doesn't clarify much at all. "It's due to the fact that my brother passed away from consuming cow's milk." Yikes. His mouth was full of goatee. This strange interview offers a glimpse into Gates's unpredictable and frequently nonsensical remarks. Although some remarks might be playful or designed to catch the interviewer off guard, they reflect his typical style of public expression: candid, unpredictable, and frequently provocative. Over the course of his career, Gates has made numerous other statements that have raised eyebrows. During an interview on The Breakfast Club, he asserted that women with acne have more enjoyable urine because of hormonal imbalances. He also claimed that after committing to speak only the truth, his health improved, as he believes stopping lies cleared a blockage in his throat chakra. Additionally, Gates shared that he prays before engaging in sexual activity as a form of spiritual connection, attributing this practice to his lack of STDs. In a widely viewed TikTok post, he expressed that women tend to prefer men with dad bods because they seem easier to manipulate. He pointed out that women favored his previously less fit body as they thought it made him more susceptible to control. On top of this, Gates has shared some unique cultural opinions. In a conversation with Atwood magazine, he declared that Louisiana stands apart as its own country, citing its distinct cultural identity. While Louisiana undeniably boasts a unique cultural identity, suggesting it should become its own nation seems to be a significant leap. Similarly, his opinions on relationships have sparked plenty of reactions. During an appearance on Carisha Please, Gates bluntly shared, "I wouldn't care if a woman had been with 1,000 men before me. If I love you, I love you." While the idea of embracing someone's past might seem commendable, the brazen delivery of his remark is a hallmark of his candid and often controversial communication style. Gates' public displays of flirtation have also garnered attention. In 2022, he openly engaged with Brittany Renner on Twitter, replying to one of her explicit posts with the hashtag D****************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** further buzz over their seemingly provocative interactions. Moreover, Gates hasn't shied away from sharing graphic details about himself. On Carisha Please, he likened his anatomy to that of Captain Hook due to its curvature, even going on to elaborate on how he provides women with instruction on performing oral sex, an unnecessary level of oversharing that caught many off guard. Considering Gates' track record of outrageous remarks, it becomes easier to contextualize his bold comments about LeBron and Savannah, not because they're any less unsuitable, but rather because they align with his tendency to speak impulsively, disregarding both the repercussions and appropriateness of his words. He has carved out an identity rooted in being provocative and polarizing, and his comments regarding the James family are just another instance of this strategy. The glaring difference between LeBron and Savannah's measured responses to years of public critique and Gates' brash public persona is impossible to ignore. The James family has endured relentless public scrutiny with poise and integrity, channeling their energy into celebrating their achievements and cherishing their family unity, instead of reacting to every negative remark. In contrast, Gates appears to relish provocation, utilizing bold and contentious statements to remain in the spotlight. For LeBron and Savannah, social media has been a double-edged sword. It has empowered them to build their personal brands, showcase their charitable initiatives, and engage with their audience directly. Yet, it has also left them vulnerable to an extraordinary amount of criticism and invasions of their privacy. They've had to adopt thoughtful strategies to balance authenticity with safeguarding their family while navigating this complex environment. For someone like Kevin Gates, however, social media serves as an ideal platform to amplify his uncensored and often controversial discourse. He has the ability to communicate his most daring ideas straight to his audience, sparking instant responses and ensuring he stays part of ongoing discussions. Social media platforms thrive on engagement, whether it stems from support or controversy. As this narrative unfolds, it'll be intriguing to see if any further exchanges occur between these public figures or if they shift their attention elsewhere. One thing remains certain. In the fast-paced world of social media, the next big drama is never far away. So what's your take on all of this? Was Gates completely out of line? Or was he simply being his authentic, unfiltered self? Did LeBron and Savannah handle the situation flawlessly? Or could their response have been different? Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to click on the boxes displayed on your screen.